the chair of the communication department, and also the faculty union president. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak before the board and this audience here. Tonight, I know the board faces a paradoxical situation that I'm too mixed about. On one hand, I know that it is not something that I want to see, that the price of college goes up. But on the other hand, I know that tuition increase would affect the quality of the education at CLC. So I'm here tonight to argue that perhaps both are not mutually exclusive. I believe it's possible to both raise tuition and control the cost of college, and I think it can be done through efforts to manage textbook costs. In 2013, the College Board estimated that the average student spent $1,200 on textbooks per year. So even a small decrease in textbook costs can go a long way towards offsetting textbook costs. As a member of the bookstore committee, I know some of these measures have already been taken, such as encouraging faculty to turn in their book orders ahead of time so that the bookstore can then buy those books back. There's also options such as used textbooks that are available through the bookstore, rental textbooks, custom editions, and then textbooks are placed in the library for students to check out and can afford some of these low-cost options. In my department, we recently adopted a textbook that normally costs $135 on Amazon.com. But because we involved the textbook buyer at the bookstore and created a custom edition, the book's going to cost students $75, which is a $60 savings. There's approximately 3,400 students who take the introductory public speaking course in a year, and a $60 savings means that's about $200,000 that students can save just in the course per year. And there are other methods for decreasing costs that are gaining a foothold at the college. In the last orientation, the college learned of open educational resources, or OERs, and these are essentially free textbooks that any instructor can use. Now, if such a textbook exists for public speaking, an adoption of it would have saved students about $450,000 a year, and this was an option that we considered in the communication department, mainly because of the orientation session. Unfortunately, we found the supplemental technology that came with the book that we selected made the book worth the price. The technology that came with the OER wasn't quite yet adopted or developed yet. I expect in a couple of years it would be. The technology that comes with our textbook, however, really is pretty sophisticated. It allows students to assess their own knowledge, how confident they are in that knowledge, and based on some research that no more than a used the technology in the past year, they found that it improves student grades up to a full credit. Unfortunately, this supplemental technology doesn't exist for all textbooks. For me, then, what that means is next fall, instead of using the introductory interviewing book that I normally would, which costs $133 because it's a small adoption, I'm going to be using a free textbook. And that's going to save students about $40,000 a year in the 5 sections of the course that's taught per semester, with about 26 students in a semester. And I understand similar efforts are being made in other departments, such as psychology is developing an OER book for their course. So to reiterate my bottom line, I believe that the college can both increase tuition and decrease the cost of education for students. I hope you consider that when you're thinking about what you're going to do tonight.
Yes.
Good evening, members of the board and the public. My name is Philip DeRuntz, and I'm glad to be here and have the opportunity to speak. I'd like to thank the board for your dedication to the College of Lake County, the students and staff, and the residents of Lake County for helping develop such a wonderful educational resource. I know you spend countless hours representing the college, and you do so without pay or even sometimes recognition. I'd also like to thank Ms. Howland in particular for her courage to lead this change in the board's expense policy at this time. As a former school psychologist, I've told my students numerous times that it takes courage and integrity to change anything worthwhile. As we've seen, it's a painful process and one not without resistance. But when an individual or board aspires to be better, it needs to recognize the broader societal goal. Transparency and accountability help organizations to move in the right direction and instill confidence and trust in the public. You have a fiduciary responsibility to the Lake County taxpayers to be frugal and to be the types of educational leaders that inspire, such as the staff, the administrators, in order to watch the spending so that every tax dollar goes to the benefit of our most important resource, our Lake County